Hi there. I did Grandma Emily's Bakery for my project. That is the type of business I chose, was a bakery. Um, okay, introduction. It's Grandma Emily's Bakery. GMB, which are the acronyms for it. It would be located in Chicago, Illinois. And basically it's where we would sell pastries, cookies, cakes, all those traditional things, that you would see. But more the traditional items. Self-analyst. As a kid, I loved to bake cookies. One year, my uncle did not want to make Christmas cookies, because he had way too much to do. And so he let me do it, and he taught me. And it was very fun, and I've loved it ever since. And that was when I was like such a young child. Food safety would be one of the number one priorities within this business because obviously I don't want to see hair or something like that in somebody's treat. That would be just disgusting and so wrong. And there would be all the traditional items, treats that you don't normally see today because people take them away because they don't think they sell, but in reality they are one of the most popular items that actually do sell. So trading self-analyst. This location would be in downtown Chicago. I would put in a location where I would know that the foot traffic would be high enough, but I wouldn't want to see the rent be so high that I couldn't afford it or to be able to afford much of anything. So I'd put in a location that I know that, the average American person can afford it, because I don't want to see like the upper class have to be able to enjoy it, but not the lower class, because I think the lower class sometimes gets missed out because of that, because the levels. So I would want it to be more for like everyone, but I would want it more for like the middle to the lower class, because I would want to see them smile, and I want to see them enjoy a treat like this. Another advantage I would have is the recipes that would come from my ancestors. Those recipes I think would really knock some out of the businesses a little bit, because I think that the older recipes people do like still. Customer analysts would be the middle class, is who I would be initially targeting. I don't want to serve a cupcake that's like $10. I'd rather serve a cupcake that's like $2.50, $3, where you can get a couple for your buck. Like I don't want to see somebody get gypped. That's why I would choose the middle class as well. It would be measured by the sales value I have as well. If something's not working, then I would try to fix it the best I could, because honestly, if you see something not working, then you do honestly want to fix it, because in the end, you're just going to bring yourself down if you don't fix it. Analyst of the location. I chose this location because I think it would actually do well for the business, but as well, when looking for the correct place or the right place for me, I would look at the cost, the zoning. I would have to ask, does this place match my business? Does this place match Grandma Emily's Bakery? Does it? Because if it doesn't, then it's not going to work at all, and it won't ever work at all if it's not the right place. I would also make sure that I could afford the rent, make sure I'm actually getting enough foot traffic and everything in, because if I don't, then obviously the business will go under, and unfortunately I don't want to see that happen. I would tell people, I'd get the word of mouth out, for people to come in and buy my product, to check out my product. I would give out free samples, just to give them a little taste of what they would taste if they came in and bought something. This would still be under the location. Now in this image, you see the foot traffic go from 80% to 110 to dropping to 100 to then 110 again, and then it drops down to about 90 again. It just shows you Sunday through Saturday, how much foot traffic you're honestly getting. Like on Saturday, you're getting not so much, but like on a Thursday or like a Wednesday, you're getting more foot traffic. So those would be the days that I would want to increase the amount of product I would have in the store, because I know that I would sell more on those days. Because if I put more into having more product on like a Sunday, then I would just be losing profit, because then things would be going bad, because that's one of my days that I'm not selling that much. Proposed organization. This is the type of business that would be sole proprietorship. This is where one person owns the whole business. They also take the debt that occurs within the business. I would do this because I would want to have my own business for me, and I'd want to just baby it. I'd want to take care of it. So that's why I would rather do it, because then I know, then I can pick and choose what I like and what I don't like. And I'd rather have the business or the debt on it as well, because so then I can manage it as I need to. I would set up a budget to see how much everything's going to cost me in the beginning, just to see how much it will cost me. I would hire a lawyer, which then would help me, because if I have legal problems or if something happens, then I still have a lawyer for this. I would ensure that some of my employees, like the decorators, would have degrees in decorating, like in arts as well, because I want only the best for my company, because I don't want to give them some schmuck off the street that doesn't really know what they're doing and that does guesses. But if I'm putting the time and energy into hiring people that actually have degrees, then first of all, I'm giving people that with college degrees a chance, because we all are looking for a place to go to after college, and it's hard out there. And second, I think that because I want the best. Who doesn't want the best for their company? I do. This chart shows the aggressiveness within this field. I know this field is sometimes saturated with people and how many people want to open up bakeries and do, but this chart actually shows this is why I would like to hire a person with a college degree, because I know how hard it is, though, honestly. Even if that person would have a couple kinks in them, I would still hire the person with the college degree, because I know how hard they worked for that degree. It's never easy going to school full-time and working full-time. And just some person coming off the street and getting a job before a person with a college degree, it never feels good, and I would never hope that would happen to me, but you never know, right? Proposed product and service. The product I'm selling is pastries that come from my ancestors. With some of the newer recipes as well, I would do like something like the kolachkis. It's like a cookie with like jam filled in them, but then I'd also do like the newer items like cupcakes, or or those like cupcakes, or those sugar cookies with like the little designs in them, like you would buy from the store, but you'd be able to buy them from my bakery, which would actually be really made and not just, you don't really know what's in there, because with buying store products, you don't know what's honestly in there, but when buying items from like a bakery, you know that that stuff is authentic most of the time. Brownies as well, that's something like that's more of the non-traditional, but I've had traditional and non-traditional in there. I would want people to truly enjoy the treats that I would serve. I would go to the baker's warehouse. This is where I would get everything I would need to operate my business with. Here's what the Baker's Warehouse looks like. It's kind of just a warehouse. But they do sell a bunch of baking stuff and baking utensils and baking items that you would need to operate a bakery. Pricing policies. Now, it would go from anywhere from like 75 cents to $6.50 and or more. Like with cakes, it would be more, obviously. But with cookies, I would range them from anywhere from like 75 cents to $5. Pastries, I would range from $3.50 to about $5. They would start off about $4.25, $4.24 a serving for cakes. Because when you order a cake, you know, you want to do it by the serving and you want to charge by the serving. So I would do about $4.24, $4.25 per serving. Tarts would be about $5 to $6.50 because of the fruit. The fresh fruit costs money. So unfortunately, I would have to leave those. But normally, some places charge between like 7 or 8. So I'm actually lower in that, even considering the fresh fruit that I'd be using for it. I'd be taking like probably a low percentage of the hit for that, but I'd also try to find a place where I can get produce cheap so I could keep those costs low enough for my consumers to enjoy at a cheap cost, you know, for the middle class to enjoy. Place and distribution. The last P would be place, distribution, meaning that I would sell sweet treats in my store that I would own personally. I would sell these desserts exclusively. I would sell them also online. I would want to have a website where you can order them and have them like picked up. Like let's say you want like 5 cookies, like these specific ones. You could order them online and pick them up in store. And we'd send you a text message or an email letting you know when your order is ready. So you wouldn't have to stand in line, you know. I would want to make sure that it's technology associated too, because that's what the world's coming to, I think. How the product would get on my shelf would be my large staff I would have. I would have a nice large storefront, but I would also have 2 large spaces through the one on top in the store front, while the downstairs for my customers to be on the top, where I would have the bakers bake all the desserts, and then I would have an other half as the cake decorating area, where I would have the consultations with the customers for what they wanted with their cakes or how they wanted their cakes, to make sure I would get exactly what they would want, because I never want to disappoint a customer. And let's say if they weren't happy with the cake, then I would remake it and I would take the hit, because that's not fair, because they took time out of their busy schedule to come to my business to try to order a cake when I messed up, and I just give it to them on the house because it was my fault. And you want to take care of those who take care of you, and they are my customers. So to make sure that they come back, I'd give them it free. This is my spreadsheet with the 12-month profit and loss projection. There's a lot of numbers on here, and it's kind of tiny, I'm sorry. But, you know, other revenues would be like beverages, cake sales, cookie sales, bread sales, cupcake sales, dessert sales. Then you have to kind of look at the expenses, like the salary, the payroll, the supplies, the office and operating costs, the rent, the telephone, the utilities, the interest on the debt that I took out, the kitchen equipment. Even if I rent it or buy it, no matter what, I'm still paying for it, and it's still coming out of my pocket. Gross profit. Within each month, I probably made, the highest month was probably about October.